Inspired Energy, and joining me this morning, Hartwell. Good morning, Hartwell.
Good morning, Kris. Good morning, everyone.
So we're continuing our little journey here, going one by one through the gates. And what gene key or gate are we looking at, and where is it located?
The gene key we're looking at today is called the gate of limitation. It's in the root center. It is part of one of the format channels that points to the sacral center. So it is the individual circuitry. It's part of the individual circuitry that formats the individuation in human design. So it locks in a perspective or energetic relationship of that person who has it to mutation, creativity, innovation.
Hmm. So
Mhm.
that's what the drive is behind the gate.
The drive behind the gate is the potential for mutation.
Hmm.
So you could say that at the root of all mutation in life is gate 60.
Hmm.
Um, I'm saying it right now, so it must be true. But remember the format, these root gates are all about a pressure, a drive,
Hmm.
a forward thrust, and 60 in particular is about, it's part of the channel of mutation.
Hmm.
So together with gate 3. So it's the one that pushes us to evolve, pushes us to break through the limitations. So it's a little bit ironic. It always seems to me that way. It's like, okay, so what is the limitation that we're talking about when we
Hmm.
talk about gate 60?
Yeah, what is that?
We're taught the limitation is that um, we can never know or control the force of mutation as it moves through life. It will move through life,
Hmm.
but you can't ever know when. You can't control that. Does that make sense?
Well, but if you have the channel of mutation, so
Yes.
you're saying that you're just going to mutate whenever. It's not that you have any work to do to be able to assist that. Is that what you're saying? Because that would really suck.
Well, the way I understand it in the moment, and this is maybe where you and I can dig into something that makes sense, is that um, think of it this way. Think of obviously I'm a man and therefore don't have this experience in this incarnation anyway, but I can't give birth to a child, whereas you are a mother. I think
Mhm.
it's on some level it's a little bit. I think this metaphor is somehow appropriate here. It's like something will be birthed through you,
Mhm.
and when that next contraction comes, it can carry you through into a new place where you understand what's going on. So there might be some understanding that comes with it, but you have no timing
Mhm.
over the contraction, the
Uh,
pulse of change as it moves through you.
mhm.
Does that make any sense to you and your experience?
Yeah, I don't really like the answer, but because as humans, we all think that we can control things, right?
Yes.
We like to be in control, but there are some things, in nature that just happen, right? They're
Yeah.
designed that way, right? Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
Um,
one of the things that you wanted to talk about too is you had actually looked at this gate and noticed that a lot of people that we work with or that are in our group or our circles or um, have this gate, and you were commenting on what a large number it was.
Yes. So, I keep a kind of a, there are people that I kind of keep an eye on because they're close to me, or they're in my circle of friends and influence fairly regularly. And of these people, I do a bit of a survey every time we talk about a gate, and it turns out that a great number of these people
Mm-hmm.
have gate 60 and or the whole channel and or gate 3 at the other end of it. So I would
Mm-hmm.
suspect that it's statistically significant how many people in my life have this channel. I have the 3, and many of the people that aren't that I didn't put down, I think, have 3 if they don't have 60.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them have the entire channel, which implies to me that here at Clair-i-tea, what we're seeking to do, and the people that come to us who are seeking to do things similar, are
Mm-hmm.
people who are here to bring mutation into the world.
Mm-hmm. To change
Um,
things, do new things. Mm-hmm.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's part of their design.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody who has gate 60 is going to feel that pressure to move ahead. Um, and limitations of any kind, however they appear, are going to seem like roadblocks. Um, but this is part of where the paradox comes in. If you accept that you have no control over the birth contraction of life,
Mm-hmm.
then paradoxically you become better able to direct it.
Ah, yeah. So when you relax and go with the flow and are just aware of the changes that are happening around you, then you're more able to deal with it. Is that what you're
Right.
saying?
If you let yourself be a vessel, if you
Mm-hmm.
let yourself be an agent for change,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't try and force the timing, one, forcing the timing would be one way that won't work, or trying to resist the timing at all, trying to
Mm-hmm.
resist it at all. Both of those could end up, for people who have this gait, could lead to chronic depression.
Mm-hmm.
Don't resist. Think about this. This is the gate of the embodied magician. Think of it that way. Think of you potentially having a relationship to magic, to embodiment, and to the laws of nature.
Mm-hmm.
Nature has its laws, and you have to cooperate with them, and if anything's going to get done.
Right.
Um, so if you know how to work, if you kind of if you're able to, in a sense, surrender to the fact that there are these laws that exist within nature, then that's probably how to best work with it.
Well, it makes me think of that this is like the gate of alchemy almost. It's like the magician is all about alchemy. So when you allow everything to move through you and allow the changes to happen and work with what's going on, that's where the magic is, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think there has to be, because one of the things about this channel, this gate and this channel, is that the energy of life as it seeks to bring change, is a pulse. And sometimes that pulse is on and sometimes it's off. And that's what you have no control over.
Hmm.
Now, if we look at it from the gene keys perspective, at the fear level, this really is experienced as limitation, because this is thinking that's trapped in a closed circuit.
Hmm.
Um, it's like this frequency is what brings and catalyzes death in life, because the fear freezes life into ever tighter patterns. And it brings a distrust of life, a distrust of change, a distrust or lack of faith that life has built-in mechanisms for correcting itself.
Mm-hmm.
So the fear, whereas this energy, the gate 60, brings life, it brings change, it brings evolution, and it brings mutation. Fear shuts that down and brings only death and an ever tighter feeling of being bound and stuck because you do not trust life. So it's a deep, deep distrust of life that happens when you're in the fear energy of this.
Yeah, that makes sense. So
Um,
you also
so,
want to, oh, go ahead.
yeah, no, please share your insights.
Well, I was just going to say, you also mentioned that Pluto is in gate 60 right now. So that has some sort of influence over the mutation, I would think, because isn't Pluto the planet of transformation?
Yes, Pluto is the planet of transformation. Yes. So
Mm-hmm.
this is in the final gate.
Mm-hmm.
Um, oh, Pluto in this gate is bringing truth. Pluto brings truth by rooting out everything that is untrue, and so it is bringing mutation. So it is catalyzing a deep. Pluto sitting in the gate of 60 is, in a sense, changing the way that we think and bringing the truth to us about the energies of this gate. What does it mean to be? What does it mean to challenge the structures of life? What does it mean to truly bring magic into the world? Um, what does it mean to set the stage for the newness? Because this is the gate. This is the final gate before gate 41, which is also in the root, which is what catalyzes a new journey in life. It's the start code in the genetic nature. So 60, Pluto's in 60, and then it'll go in 41, and that's when the mutation that Ra is predicting in 2027 begins to sweep through the population. So
Mm-hmm.
gate 60 is like the clearinghouse in a way, and we're being challenged to trust that inbuilt within the nature of life. So right now basically what's getting purified is we're working with the fear of the distrust of life,
Mm-hmm.
the fear that life is not going anywhere, the fear that life doesn't know what it's doing. We are The most fearful of us are getting ever more stuck in how things have already been and are resisting change even more. And so you could say that there's this chronic depression that is sweeping, that we are all having to look at because of people's unwillingness to change and
Mm-hmm.
unwilling to trust in the flow of life.
Right.
Um, so wherever people are stuck in an outdated mindset that distrusts anything new, they are in the shadow frequency of gate 60.
Mm-hmm.
But what is the gift frequency? The gift frequency Richard Rudd calls realism.
Mm-hmm.
This is the common sense of magic. So when we understand the limitations of the world of form, we then know the laws by which things manifest. So for anything new to take root in the world, it must follow certain laws. So
Mm-hmm.
people with the gate of realism understand the importance of creating structures, whether mental or emotional or physical. They
Mm-hmm.
know the importance of structures, and they know that if you marry the idea like the thing that you're seeking to bring about or create, to create anew, if you take that idea and you create a structure for that idea, then you can bring magic into the world. You can bring change in the world. So the idea, the vision, the concept, marry that with a structure, because gate 60 at the gift level has an inherent understanding of the structures, how structure and concept work together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
wonderful.
so realism always involves magic. For magic to occur, you only need some kind of structure and an open mind, is what Red says. To
Well,
be realistic means to be realistic means to accept the limitations of being in form without being a victim of those limitations.
mhm,
So, so all answers require turning inward and embedding with oneself within the structures of nature and feeling that understanding. And then
mhm,
that's how people with gate 60 become effective agents for change.
mhm,
Um, they understand that any idea that you want to have be birthed into the world requires a structure.
mhm,
And at the highest level, justice is the word that relates to this gate, this gene key.
mhm.
Justice is hard to describe, but in the Christian worldview, the day of judgment is the archetype that relates to gate 60.
Hmm.
So if somebody were to be expressing the full power of this at the civic level, the laws of reality and time would be remade. So in the context of which cities may arise first, you know, the you know, the city of the 60th gate would be one of the last, because the day of judgment comes at the end
Mhm.
of the
Yeah,
story.
yeah, for sure. Is there any last things you want to say about this gate before we sign off?
Well, I kind of would want to ask you that. You've got this entire channel and you've been thinking deeply about this. Do you have anything more to offer us there?
Oh,
What
I
is
wanted,
resonating today?
yeah. Well, I have the rose-colored glasses, so I want to change everything and try everything and do everything. So, um, I think that's just goes well with the possibility and seeing possibility in everything, right? Without
Yes.
without going over to the probability side. What's the probability of that happening? Because I think that feels more like the limitation, right? Instead of just the possibility and then letting life unfold, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but you have a lot of programming around, especially holding a structure about what it
Yes.
about what it should look like and how it should run and things like that. So it's more difficult to shift that and mutate that.
Sure. It requires, I think, a lot of trust
Mhm.
from those who have it. To be a conscious and powerful agent for change requires perhaps that you're kind of okay with that whole birth metaphor.
Mhm.
Um, and it's like life is giving you its marching orders
Mhm.
rather than your own personal ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
So,
but I think it's super exciting that you have that channel, and of course you have the entire channel that relates to with the 41 too, which is where the 60
mhm.
in the order of the unfoldment of life, 41 comes after 60.
41 was the one that starts the year, isn't it? The initiatory one.
Yes, it is
Yeah.
a New Year's gate in human
Mhm.
design way of
Right.
seeing things.
Mhm.
So yeah, no, all I would say to people is right now, actually, let me look very quickly. Right now, I believe, am I right? Am I wrong? No, I'm wrong. Okay. Anybody who has gate 3 natally is going to be experiencing a channel the channel mutation being formed. So that's something to think about too. Pluto moves slowly. If you have gate 3 and Pluto's in gate 60, it means that change is potentially moving through your life in a more accelerated form than usual.
Mm-hmm.
That would be me, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
I have a planet in gate 3. Or
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So what I would simply recap with people, this is a really good time to consider if you're interested in human design, joining me for the group that I'm beginning on the 30th of October, where we take these insights and we work together to ground them and embody them in our life in a way that makes a difference for us.
Mm-hmm.
So not only will we be studying the archetypes, because I mean, studying human design is a great way to understand all the underlying archetypes of life. But we'll be seeing how it applies to you in your own life and in the lives of the people around you. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm excited about right now. I want to engage with people in a conversation that moves us ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And gives us a deeper understanding of all of this information because it's so much information.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. Okay, well, with that, we'll say goodbye. God bless, and join us next Wednesday when we tackle another gate. And yeah, just stay in touch. See you later. God bless.